Okay, so briefly tell me, how did the course develop?
Well, the course came about is in that I was one of those people that the training I had didn't really cover the foot and ankle. It was very brief. You just went through the basic movements, active movements with overpressure, and I then started treating more and more feet and got okay results. I think post sprain and post fracture and things like that, they sort of get better to them, to a certain extent themselves. But there were kind of lots of residual problems left that I wasn't quite clearing, and I went on a couple of courses, and some of it I just didn't understand. They weren't done that well, and so then I just started to spend a lot of time reading, a lot of time playing with feet, experimenting, refining my assessment, refining my touch in terms of the foot. And it sort of grew from there, really. I did some teaching sessions and people said it was very, very helpful. I then sort of expanded out to one day, got some great reports. And so therefore it's gone like that. And more people teach it too. Again, taught it on master's degrees, taught it obviously just post-grad in terms of the one-day course. And it's pretty much always well received, and nobody's ever said that, we've covered that on our training. It's stuff that, it's not rocket science, it's simple, but it's good palpatory anatomy, systematic assessment, and it's grown from there really. That's how it's developed, and taught it to a range of different levels, from students up to master students, and clinical specialists in the foot and ankle, and everyone's kind of got something from it, so it kind of covers that wide remit. Because most of the time, I don't know about you, but when I was taught the foot in terms of dorsiflexion, you'd be dorsiflexing the foot and saying, right, that's your measure of dorsiflexion, and you'd be then judging range, pain, quality. Plantarflexion, again, you'd be taking the foot down and overpressing as hard as you needed to, and that will be your measure of plantarflexion. Inversion, etc. Eversion. For the purposes of the course, it's a bit more complicated than that, or you can get a lot more detail, is another way to think of it. If you took inversion, for example, inversion is a composite movement. It's made up of movement at the back of the foot, the middle of the foot, and the front of the foot. And what we do in terms of the course, we break the foot down into regions. We break it down to rear foot, midfoot, and forefoot. And we can do that, one of the things that we'll do on the course, is we take certain bony points and we say, right, we mark them on. And then we say, right, they differentiate out certain regions. So that would be the rear foot, that would be the midfoot, and that would be the forefoot. And the advantage of that, when you're assessing a foot, as I say, we'll take inversion, is that if we look at inversion, it's that composite movement, as I said. So if we hold the rear foot and move the rear foot, that's rear foot inversion. That's midfoot inversion. That's forefoot inversion. Now the other thing with inversion, it's also got an element of adduction. So therefore, that movement is made up of rear foot, midfoot, forefoot, and adduction, any of which can be limiting inversion or causing a problem with it. So basically what we need to be able to do is to confidently assess each of those, and then say, for example, we work out, well actually it's a forefoot that's the problem. Now which part of the forefoot? Is it the medial side? Is it the lateral side? And so we systematically go through how to pick that up, so that if someone's presenting with stiffness or a decrease in range, we can very, very quickly work out where in the foot it is. And so we might then be doing a very localised treatment. It might be a soft tissue treatment, and we could also then cover whether it might be a trigger point or something more proximal that's causing that restriction. And we go through that very systematically. So the overall goals and aims are, one, to improve your palpatory anatomy quite a lot. Two, to have a good understanding of rear foot, midfoot, forefoot, so you can break that down for any movement. We can do that for eversion, we can do that for plantarflexion, we can do it for dorsiflexion, and again we show different handling for each of those. So good assessment of that region automatically falls into good treatment, because if you can localise it, say to the midfoot, and you work out, well actually it's navicular on thales, then we know that treating around this area is going to be your most effective treatment, as opposed to just turning the whole foot in and hoping that that's going to improve that range of movement. So you can be more effective in your treatment, more localised. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. What was it that, so we were at the end of the 1 day foot and ankle, what did you sort of aim to come on the day to achieve? What did you want to get from the day?
I wanted to come on the day to basically walk away with a good comprehensive assessment model for the foot and ankle, and I feel that that's definitely been met and more.
Fantastic, that's cool. Was there any of the day that was a surprise that you didn't expect?
The vector concept with identifying sort of local and distal restrictions, that was really interesting and will be something I can apply easily and immediately.
Okay, cool. So again, Monday things will be slightly different when you look at a foot and
all my
ankle.
discharged foot patients back.
Yeah, I just think, hang on a second, I've got a great idea.
I've got some new ideas.
That's fantastic. And so if you had someone, if you're talking on Monday and someone said, oh, I'm thinking of doing that foot and ankle course, what would you say with regards to today?
Highly recommended. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, great. It was really enjoyable too.
That's brilliant. Thanks very much. That's great.